nothing to do with it.
Welcome to Toffee TV. This is your comments on the sacking of Ronald Koeman as Everton manager. If you're just coming in, he's been sacked.
He's been sacked, as it says here.
Koeman sacked.
Sorry about the flickering.
These are your comments. We did a vid earlier with Derek Mountfield, and these are your comments. Let's get into it. Everton 2000 said, I'd have Unsworth in charge until we find the right replacements and not rush into it. I'd go all out for Tuchel, great young manager who is renowned for giving youngsters a chance. Baz, you're in the Tuchel camp.
Well in it.
Well,
been in it since 2012, 13. Yeah, listen, he's who I would go for, because I think we need an energetic young manager that wants to take a grip of it. He's also has his team working really hard, so I think the fans would identify with that as well. But yeah, he's certainly one I'd be looking at.
Yeah, and he's not got a job at the moment as well. So be interesting. Maybe be interested if Everton have that conversation, or whether they just dismiss it. Moving on, Toffee Blue says, disgusting treatment towards Koeman, never given a chance. Do we believe that?
I don't agree with that, but everyone's entitled to an opinion. I think he's been given a lot of money. The thing for me is that there's been no improvements at all. It's not as if we're playing well and we've been unlucky in games. There's been no improvement. There's been no reaction to any defeat. So I disagree, but each to their own. Do you disagree? Or do you
I don't disagree. I think if you watch the football regularly, you'll see that the problems have been there all season. The team hasn't improved by anything he's done, because number one, it hasn't improved. Number two, he hasn't done anything really. Hasn't changed anything. He hasn't, if he set out a consistent way of playing, an assistant set of players, and the players were getting better but not getting results, then you would say, yeah, but they haven't. So I disagree, but that's fair enough. That's your opinion. Ebu says, don't go for Ancelotti at all. He's a man manager, not a tactical one. If you've got superstars, he's perfect to try and keep them happy and content and playing well, but we ain't got that. We need someone else who's more tactically astute, in my opinion. Tuchel, Dyche and Fonseca are good shouts. Personally, think Wagner would be a perfect fit too. He's a good tactical coaching wise and motivational, but I doubt he'd leave Huddersfield and manage a rival team to his best pal. Who gives a monkey to his best pal is?
Might like
but
it.
Again, I think you're probably right on the Ancelotti thing, even though it would be an interesting to see him at Everton. Maybe Everton would contact him and see what he would have to offer. But I think there is definitely the shout of would he fit the situation, and I don't necessarily think Ancelotti would fit the situation. Going out of Europe, having a struggle, would that if you were him at his age, would that appeal to you? The kind of work you'd have to put in. I mean, obviously towards the end of Bayern Munich, there was talk that his training sessions were really poor and he wasn't putting the hard work in. So I don't know if he would be the right fit, which is annoying, to be fair. But that's where we are.
He's obviously a fantastic manager and he's proven himself. He's only 56, so he's still. You look at like Jupp Heynckes, who's just took the Bayern job again. He's 72, but it's whether he's got that desire to come fight battle in the relegation zone, which is what we're in at the moment, and can he do it with players that aren't at that very top level like he's used to managing.
Look at M123 says, important, you don't rush into another appointment. Already rumours of Moyes retaining. Now, I think the Moyes rumours are because there is talk of someone coming in and almost steadying the ship for maybe the rest of the season.
I think that's
where it comes from. I don't think anyone would say we want Moyes as our manager.
9 games played in the Premier League.
No, I know, but and
I can't listen. I give Klopp stick for that first season. Because they took over, they were 8th and they finished 8th, and he had 30 games. That's a season for me. 30 games is a season, so I'm not going to then turn it on its head and go, well, you know, it's just an interim manager.
Yeah.
We're 9 games in, and we've got a window to spend money in, and we've got money to spend. So this appointment's important. It is important that we don't rush in, but I wouldn't be looking at like an interim manager. Maybe David Unsworth at the moment, but so you'd either make him long-term manager or you bring someone else in, but not someone till the summer and then look at it again. No.
Yeah. FGA Football says, remember when Ronald Koeman came in, players are at 70%. Well, it's not even 50% on Sunday. I agree. Dyche should work the players and bring some much needed passion and identity we've missed all season. I'll still take Unzi and Royal till Christmas though. Till Christmas? Why Christmas? Are they giving them Christmas off? Yeah, I mean, as you've just said there, the January window's the thing, isn't it? If you're to give a manager till after January, then basically you're appointing them full time. Because either that or you're saying they can't buy the players.
Yeah.
I mean, Everton's obviously, it's the Steve Walsh situation makes that slightly twisted anyway, because if he's buying the players. But if you're bringing a manager and you're allowing them to stay for the rest of the season, then you might as well give them a full time and let them go and try and buy who they want.
See, I don't really subscribe to Walsh buying the players and then trying to coach them, because I still believe that your manager stroke coach has an input in the strikers and people like that who they want. Because if you just pass me a forward and go work with him, well, I'm like, he's not good enough, you know about. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think there's a difficulty in that.
James Dunlop says, it had to happen. I wanted him to succeed, but it showed that it clearly didn't work out at all. Question is now who comes in and who is out there to take the job. I pray we make the right appointment and someone who can take us out of this mess. I agree, but I hope it's someone who can take us out of this mess and take us on. I think that we've got to... That's the difficulty they've got. They've got to get a manager that can solve this problem and then take us on to the next problem. Because that's what sort of Koeman was there for. Koeman was there to sort of take us on to try and get European football and progress and try and get top 4. Now with the position we're in, we're asking almost the manager to do 2 jobs. Get us out of the relegation situation and then move us on into Europe. And with the amount of games still left, that's still possible. I mean, you only have to look at the table at the moment. Let's just take Liverpool, the 5 points away from us, and they'll be thinking they can challenge for top 4 this season, and they're 5 points away from us. Now, obviously, there has to be a drastic turnaround in the way we've played in our fortunes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And maybe it's without a centre forward. Maybe it's too much to ask to try and get us to. But we have to be up there and pushing, you know, and not be where we are at the moment, which is in the relegation zone.
I agree with you. It only takes 2 or 3 wins to turn it, and we could be pushing up. But we need someone. We need long-term managers, don't we? That's what we need. We need someone, and that's why the likes of Tuchel, maybe Dyche, appeal, because they're young enough to go, you know what, I want this for 4 or 5 years, and I want to build this team that's going to fight and challenge for the top. And I'll stick by what I said. There's very good players in Everton's squad, very good players. And who's to say if it was someone like a Tuchel, the likes of Ross Barkley, wouldn't say, you know what, I want to play for him, I want to play for Everton, give me that contract, I'll sign it, I want to stay. You know, and other players, who knows?
Alba back says, please, I hope rumours of David Moyes are false. Yeah, well, so do we. William briefly says,
Briley,
whatever. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day.
Don't know if it's possible, but see if we can get Marco Silva. Now, obviously, Marco Silva's been put in there, good shout. I just think it's bad timing. He left Hull at the end of last season. He only took over the Hull in January. Yeah. And you know, he's gone into Watford and he's doing very well at Watford, and you would probably imagine that he's not going to be looking to uproot straight away.
They just say go away. He's probably signed a 3-year deal with Watford or something. They'll just be like, although they do get rid of their managers every year.
Yeah.
They don't care. Watford, they love it. They love a new manager.
For them to have a manager that they want.
But if they didn't want him, why would we want him?
Yeah.
You know, he looks a really good manager and they're playing really well. But it's a good shout, Silver. But
Franz Beck says, terrible decision sacking Koeman. They played City, Spurs, United, Chelsea and Arsenal the first 9 games. Realistically, Everton should lose to all those teams. Games why? You're not an Evertonian, by the way. You're not an Evertonian. It really just a home loss to Burnley. That's the bad result. Very impulsive decision. It's not. Franz, you're not an Evertonian. You're an outsider. But I'm glad this is in, so we can clarify that. Number one, we should be beating some of those teams. We should be, because we finished 7th. And we should be challenging those teams after what we spent. So we should be beating some of those teams.
We should.
And it's not impulsive, because if you'd had to watch them this season, you would understand there's no plan. There's no consistency in team selection. 3 different right backs. You never know which one they're going to be played. You never know. Us as fans who watch the games regularly, we don't know who's going to be playing. So it's not impulsive. And we haven't got a owner or a chairman who are impulsive.
No.
We've
played 17 games, haven't we, this season? Not impulsive at all.
Yeah. Renty says, I'm a little bit worried that Koeman wasn't the only issue at the club.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I think that's starting to bubble underneath now. People, the Walsh situation, is there an issue at board level? Is there an issue with some of the players? We don't know. Time will tell on all of those things. But at this moment in time, of course the players are an issue, because they're not performing. But it's a lot easier to get rid of the manager than it is to get rid of half a dozen players. Yeah. So, you know, all you can do as an owner is take a decision. And I think I praise the Everton board for doing this, because they've made a decision. Yeah. They've made that decision and they've gone, you know what, rather than letting it drag on, we're going to go for it. We haven't seen any... You can't get beat. We've lost 3 home games on the spin, by the way.
Yeah.
We'd only lost 2 home games after the Tottenham game in his tenure. So we've lost 3 on the run. We've played, and what we haven't won in 4 home games, and one of them was against the Cypriot side. We haven't shown anything like we're improving, and we've just been spanked 5-2 at home by an Arsenal team that hadn't won away. So, you know, even Stoke kept the clean sheet against Arsenal. Stoke. So, you know, they had to make a decision, and they've made the right decision.
I think we'll only find out if there are other issues now, anyway, with Koeman leaving. Do you know what I mean? If there are other issues, they will now surface as well, because people will go, well, hang on, there's more to it than just Ronald Koeman. So
we'll see.
Yeah. Victim says, I don't think a brand new manager will help. Can a brand new manager come to a new club and go on a winning streak right away? Yes.
Yeah.
Of course they can. It was Arsenal. Looks like a recipe for disaster. Koeman wasn't the best this season, but now we have really shot ourselves in the foot. Have we though? Because managers do come in and go and run and...
Leicester were horrendous, and Craig Shakespeare coming and won 6 on the bounce until we beat them.
Yeah.
So, of course they can. We could get a new manager, or Unsworth could take over, and we could win 3 of the next 3 league games.
Koeman wasn't addressing the problems that we had, and that's why it was getting worse and worse, because he wasn't addressing the situation. You go into a game like Arsenal, some managers would have said, you know what, we're having a bad few weeks, we've been beaten by all the top sides that we've played, apart from Man City, so let's stop the rot, let's play away to get a point. And if you get beat, sometimes you get beat, but at least you are making yourself tough to beat, you work hard. He didn't do that.
Look at the substitution of Calvert-Lewin. You know, getting beat 2-1, it should have been made then. People are arguing whether Garner should have been dragged off on a yellow card when that referee was desperate to send one of our players off. And we go 3-1 down.
Yeah.
And he just does the same thing. He takes Rooney off, who was playing on the right, and puts Lookman there. And then he takes Calvert-Lewin off and puts Nias there. So he didn't actually alter anything. He left it as it was and just put 2 other people on. And you're going, all you do is, you're down to 10 men. You put another striker on a front and you miss the midfield. You just drive it from back to front and get people around the ball. And that's how
against
you might
the
get
soft Arsenal team as well.
Exactly, and we didn't.
Good team, but soft. We knew that. Yeah. So Gary Jones says, see how Unsworth does till March. Why March? I mean, it's a very, Then if we still feel like we need a manager, it gives him time to see who's good and who can go in the transfer window. March, I don't see that as really a date, because what if it's not good in March?
Get holidays.
Yeah, then you get holidays.
Holidays for an interim, keep us up.
Yeah, listen, it's really difficult to predict what's going to happen with this. It's not a great period for trying to get managers. It doesn't look like that anyway.
What they might say, who knows what's...
Oh yeah, maybe
They've probably put the out
feelers out. I'm starting to think Sean Dyche is the favourite now, personally. Honestly, I do.
My only thing with Sean Dyche is he looks like a fucking doorman. Looks like a doorman.
Could be good.
It could be, yeah. And that voice is impressive. You'd shit yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there you go.
Burnley are probably like...
Yeah, Burnley. But I suppose that's what Burnley do, or set up for, but they'll be like, yeah, but not in season.
Could he bring Ben Mee with him?
Possibly. Chris Wood?
No, not Chris Wood. I heard just very quickly on Dyche, so I said here he was summarising on the Brighton game, on the thing I was watching. Very interesting about the defensive side of the game, and he was talking about Michael Koeman, when he blocked it with his thing, talking about how he has Burnley plays reactive, their defenders proactive rather than reactive in the box, and he said we work for hours on that. So there's just that little insight of he would get Everton organised immediately. Do you know what I mean? Stronger defensively, and it'd be interesting that way. But
big thanks to everyone for getting your comments over. It's been a bit of a mad one today. News broke while we were doing the final words. We had to redo everything.
Stop it and go live.
Yeah. So make sure if you haven't watched our reaction video, make sure you watch it. Check out the final word as well. See the moments where we find out how everything changed in that moment, like that. That was with Daisy Mount as well. So definitely worth catching that. And we'll see you later on Toffee TV.